Hi, we're officially starting our live. I'm Gina Sunderland, Food and Consumer Relations Specialist with Manitoba Chicken Producers. Welcome to our Express Meals for Students Facebook Live. I am so happy to be joined here by two special guests this evening. I am joined by Jenna, and she is my summer student for the second year, and I want to thank you, Jenna, for helping me with so many tasks throughout the summer. And I'm also really pleased to be joined by my son here, Joel, who's helped me on many of these live events. So I am going to turn it over to Jenna and Joel to introduce themselves.
Right, as Gina said, my name is Jenna, and I've had the opportunity to work with Gina for 2 summers now. I graduated from the U of M with a nutritional science degree last year, and I just found out that I got accepted into the dietetic program in New Brunswick, so I'm going to be moving there in a month. I'm super excited, and I'm going to be an intern there. So these meals have been great for me as there are express meals for students. And I'll pass it on to Joel.
Hi, I'm Joel Sunderland. I'm in my last year at U of M in the Asper School of Business. And these are some really good meals that you can just heat up in between classes. Classes are online, so I'm at home all the time, so I've got some time to make some meals. And in between classes, these heat up really well.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things. You cook once, you eat twice. All right, so before we get started with launching into these absolutely delicious and quick recipes, it's always important to be safe in the kitchen. So I am going to let you, Jenna and Joel, share your favorite food safety tips, because eating is fun, but getting sick isn't.
Right. What's one of yours, Joel?
Well, before you do any cooking, you should always wash your hands with warm soapy water for 20 seconds.
That's a good one. And then one important one is when we are cooking with chicken, raw chicken, it's so important to have different cutting boards when we're dealing with the raw chicken, if there's vegetables. So we always recommend using a plastic cutting board when dealing with raw chicken. That just ensures that we can throw this cutting board in the dishwasher and make sure it's getting properly sanitized, so no cross-contamination. And then you had one more, didn't you?
Yeah, so when you're cooking your chicken, sometimes it's hard to tell when it's cooked, so using a meat thermometer can really help you take out the guesswork. So you want to put it into the thickest part of the meat, and it should read 165 Fahrenheit.
That's right, so when you're cooking with chicken parts like we are tonight, we're cooking with chicken breasts, we're cooking with chicken thighs, that's exactly right. The meat thermometer takes all that guesswork out. Those are perfect food safety tips to keep in mind. So just before we launch into this first delicious recipe, and I have to say, Jenna, that chicken simmering smells so good. But a Facebook Live would not be a Facebook Live if we didn't have some wonderful prizes. And tonight, just for tuning in and sharing a comment, maybe your favorite chicken recipe, or asking Jenna, Joel, or myself a question, you'll be entered into a random draw to win one of 3 $75 grocery gift cards, and that will be enough grocery funds to purchase everything you need to make these 2 recipes, and then some bonus for a few other treats to put into your grocery cart. I'll be sending a direct message right after this Facebook Live, and by tomorrow morning, 3 lucky winners will have a $75 grocery gift card right in their inbox. Okay, so back to our cooking.
Yeah,
oh my goodness, Jenna, I'm getting hungry.
Away. Yeah, so right now we've got cooking 4 chicken breasts. We've diced this chicken breast into about 1/2 inch pieces. So as this is sizzling away, Joel, I'm going to have you add, we have 1 whole onion here, so I'm going to have you add this to the pan. And we're also going to add our 3 cloves of garlic that has been chopped. And we're going to make sure that we're stirring this consistently, as we don't want to burn the garlic. And as this sizzles down, Joel, I'm going to have you add the Italian seasoning. Awesome. And then we have the pepper. I'll mix this up here.
Oh, Jenna, love those Italian spices.
One thing I love about this recipe is that we're only using this pan. We're adding all the ingredients into this pan, and we're not dirtying any more dishes. So as Joel and I both agree, being a student, we don't want to be in the kitchen doing our dishes. So minimal pots and pans is always a good thing for a student.
Yes, indeed, and for all of us, especially us busy moms too. And I love the way these 2 recipes come together so quickly, and minimal cleanup afterwards.
Yeah.
All right, so next step.
Next ingredient.
Got some tomatoes here, and these are just some grape tomatoes that we've cut up. But if you want to make it a little easier, you could use canned tomatoes as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice when you cut them because then they simmer down quickly and they have that really nice sweet tangy flavor.
We're gonna let this reduce for a little bit so that all the flavors come out. And I think my favorite ingredient, other than the chicken, is this balsamic vinegar that we put into this dish. I feel like it just makes all the ingredients come together. Such a yummy ingredient. So as this sizzles down,
excellent.
We'll let it reduce a little bit. And then we've got two options for this dish. So as you can see here, we've got our just original pasta. And then we had some fun making these zoodles out of zucchini. So we spiralized that and we added the chicken on there, the chicken caprese. And one thing I love about this one is that with the zoodles, we're getting extra vegetables. I know that's really important as a student. I'm always trying to make sure that I'm getting enough vegetables in during the day, as well as my protein to fill me up for the day.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so what are your favorite things about this recipe, Joel?
Oh, well, it's just really easy to make, and as Jenna said, it's easy to clean up. You're only using one pan.
Yeah, and the flavor.
Yeah, it tastes really good.
Right, we love Italian food. It sort of reminds me of a restaurant dish, so nice and fresh and delicious, but really with that student price tag, right? And I think he said it heats up beautifully too, so double bonus, right? I love that, you know, cook once, eat twice, and it's great. All right, so we want to thank everyone for tuning in here to our Facebook Live Express Student Meals, and if you've just joined us, it's not too late to get in on our second delicious recipe that Joel and Jenna are going to show us how easy it is to prepare, and it's a healthy one too. They both are super healthy.
So this one is our sheet pan chicken and sweet potato with warm spice. When this came out of the oven, Gina, oh my gosh, smelled so good. It reminded me of fall as much as I don't want fall to come. It just smelled so nice with that warm spice, so I'm excited to walk you guys through it.
That's right. Okay.
So we've got 8 chicken thighs that we cut in half here, and then Joel's gonna walk us through some of the vegetables that we add.
Yes, we have some red pepper here, and you just want to cut it into little chunks like that.
The colors look beautiful.
You have some sweet potato, and same thing, maybe 1-inch pieces.
Exactly.
We have an onion here. And some garlic.
Awesome. So now that Joel's gotten that added to the bowl, we're gonna make our spice mixture. So we have, I'm gonna add canola oil to this dish here, and then we've got some nice spices here. We've got paprika, half a teaspoon. Then we've got half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of coriander. We have a teaspoon of chili powder, and then we've got salt here. So I'm just gonna whisk this all together and make this little spice mixture. And then Joel, I'll have you mix that around. And once I finish mixing this, we will add it to our chicken and vegetables.
So right, once again, everything's kind of being made in one bowl. Yep.
One bowl, one sheet pan, which is so nice. Not too messy. Awesome. So I'm gonna drizzle this over the chicken and vegetables here, Joel. Awesome.
Perfect. Oh my goodness. Even though this isn't cooked, those spices, they just smell so nice. It's such a beautiful combination. Yeah.
And then once we get that all coated, we're just gonna add it to the sheet pan.
Okay.
And this recipe calls for cooking it at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. To ensure that the chicken is cooked, we can use our meat thermometer as well, as Joel said, checking the temperature to ensure it's cooked. Perfect.
Oh my goodness, this is looking good. Not only does it smell great, but it's so beautiful and colorful too. And you're right, Jen, it brings together those fall colors. All right, so
you just want to spread it evenly.
Yeah, I think I might just hold the bowl. Yeah. Exactly. That's a lot. It makes a lot of food, you know, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's great because then you have the leftovers too.
Yeah, so make it for dinner, have it the next day for lunch. It's always great, not stressing about what kind of meals you're gonna have to make.
Yeah. I have to say, Joel's actually whipped this up on one of his lunch breaks before, has it sitting in the fridge in a bowl, all marinated, and then voila, you just pop it in the oven, after your long day of classes.
Yeah, you can get it ready before and then cook it later.
Exactly. All right, so this looks great. Even though it's not cooked, it smells wonderful. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I also am now very excited to move on to one of our favorite parts of our Facebook Live, is interacting with all of you and answering your questions. So I'm grabbing my phone just so I can take a quick look at the questions that we have here. Oh my goodness, we've got quite a few. So Amber is asking, how long can raw chicken sit in the fridge before going back? Well, raw chicken can typically be kept in the fridge for 3 days. But when you buy chicken and it's packaged, there will be a best use by date on that chicken. And if you can't use it by that date, it's best to freeze your chicken, because chicken can be kept in the freezer for quite a long time. Whole chicken a year, chicken part 6 months, ground chicken 3 months. So it's really great. You can stock up when that chicken's on sale and keep it in the freezer and then defrost it in the fridge. So that's a great question. Thank you. Marcy said, my meat thermometer is not digital. What is the best way to check that it's still accurate? Oh, okay. Well, it probably has a dial on it, right? So,
looking for that number.
Yeah, look for that number, right? So, yep, Joel can go through those numbers again if you want to share the numbers with everyone to make sure that they know when their chicken's properly cooked.
And so it's 164 Fahrenheit.
Right, or, 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're cooking a whole chicken, it's 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's just that simple. So just watch that little dial. If your dial's not moving properly, if your meat thermometer is a few years old, it's not a digital one, if it maybe has gotten wet, then it's time to replace it. It's just such a good investment to have that accurate, properly functioning meat thermometer. So, is it okay to add onion to raw chicken in the pan? Absolutely, yes, you can add onion, and this recipe combines that chicken and onion together. Oh, and a nice little serving suggestion for this sheet pan chicken, Jenna. I'm gonna let you guys and Joel talk about how it's just adds that extra element of deliciousness.
The limes and the sour cream just go hand in hand with this recipe. And I guess we didn't note is this recipe, both recipes are so nice because we can add other ingredients. If you don't have all the ingredients in your fridge, in your pantry, you can always substitute for something else, like sweet potato. If you don't have sweet potato on hand, just using a red potato is awesome too. That's right. Yep. That's when cooking at home, it's super versatile. It gives you so many options. You can use up ingredients that you have on hand, and it really saves you money and prevents you from wasting food. Mm-hmm. So Colette has asked if we can use chicken breast instead of the thighs for the recipe. Yeah. First recipe uses chicken breast. Second recipe uses chicken thigh. And I have to say, hey, Joel, we've made this many times, and we use our chicken breast for it too. Both ways works beautifully. One thing I liked about this recipe is chicken thighs tend to be a little bit more economically friendly. So as a student, we're kind of on our budget, want to go for a little bit of a different cut that's cheaper. But yeah, I think this recipe is very versatile. You can use different cuts. It certainly is. And I know sometimes the chicken thighs are nice and moist too. Yeah, so they're becoming really popular. So this is a question that we get asked often. Amber has asked, should I wash chicken before cooking it? So we know the answer to that. So I guess I'll let Joel and Jenna answer that one. No. No, I don't think. So it can actually spread germs around your sink when you wash it. So it's best to just cook your meat with your meat thermometer at the proper temperature, and that will kill anything in the chicken. That's right. So any bacteria, best way to cook your chicken, safest way, the only way to ensure it's safe is to cook it. So wash your hands, but don't wash your chicken. Oh, so someone's asking if you did swap out the chicken thighs for chicken breast, would it become dry? And you know what? We've done this many, many times, this recipe with chicken breast. It does not become dry because there's that beautiful infusion of the canola oil with all the spices. But again, like Joel and Jenna are saying, use that meat thermometer because it's important to cook chicken to the right temperature, but you don't want to overcook it either. And that is the best way
to not just ensure your chicken's properly cooked, but to also make sure that you're not drying it out. So these have been some fantastic questions, and we really appreciate them. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna check back here. There might be a few more. Yes, you guys do such a great job with asking such important questions, and I know the information that's shared is of value to everyone. We encourage you to continue to ask us questions and leave comments. But just before I go, I want to say thank you, of course, to Jenna and to Joel for helping me out tonight with our express meals for students. It's been a lot of fun. I also want to take a moment to thank our 147 Manitoba chicken producers, farmers, because we are so lucky that throughout the year we have access to beautiful, fresh, nutritious, healthy local chicken. So a big thank you to them. And before I close, I want to mention that we have another spectacular event coming up in just a few short weeks. September is actually National Chicken Month. And on September 2nd, mark your calendar, save the date, at 7 p.m. we are going to do a special watch party. I will be joined with one of our chicken farmers, Rachel, and she is going to take you on a video right into her barn that we just shot a few days ago, and she is going to answer your top 10 chicken farming questions. After our premiere watch of this video, you'll be the first people to see it. Of course, we'll have prizes for tuning in and watching the video. You'll have a chance to dialogue with Rachel after our video. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of summer. Happy back to school. Please be sure to add these wonderful recipes into your back to school repertoire, whether you're a busy mom or you're university students or interns like Jenna. And we want to thank all of you. And you can find these 2 recipes and many more at manitobachicken.ca. Have a great evening. Bye, everyone. Thank you.